What's up guys, and welcome back to Software Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone Season 4 and its latest updates. Now, yes ladies and gentlemen, they have brought out a couple of new things to this game, a new island, a new map, and it is constantly rotating and stuff like that, so there's a rotation of maps and stuff like that. It's quite enjoyable, to be honest with you. Right now, this very moment, I'm really enjoying Season 4. Now, but a lot of people are experiencing FPS loss, and just in general, I know a lot of people want an FPS boost guide, so all you're going to need to do is follow my guidelines, and you should be good to go. Watch this video from the beginning to the end, and I can promise you, you'll get the best performance out of this game for Season 4. Alright, let's jump straight into this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are on our desktop right now, and the first thing I just want to mention is this. If you would like to let me personally optimize your computer for you, if you need an optimization or whatever the case might be, you can go ahead and email me here at the top, and just send me an email, and then I'll message you my Discord and whatever the case might be. And I do charge a service fee. Because it actually takes up time and effort from me to be able to optimize your PC for you, and I'll do everything for you, don't worry. Or I could just guide you through everything that you need to do, and you should be good to go. I just want to mention that to you guys. My email's here at the top, and you can just email me. All right, so the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is, ladies and gentlemen, please be on your desktop. It doesn't matter if you're running this game through Battle.net or Steam. Just close both of those programs. Please go ahead and close it and be on your desktop. Now, the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here. If you have background apps running, please go ahead and close them. You do not want these things to run while you are playing Call of Duty. It's highly recommended that you close all background apps. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the very first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is close all background apps. Now, this includes every single thing that you're running on your machine that is running in the background using resources like your VRAM. Yes, it can actually physically use your VRAM. It can use your RAM itself, your random access memory, so your RAM sticks, your RAM DIMMs, and also your CPU itself. And then the most important thing would be your drive, meaning if you have a hard drive, SSD, or an M.2, it can physically use that drive and physically use the read and write speeds while you are playing the game. Now, you want to close all of those things, and it's very easy and simple to do. Just close all the bullshit on your machine that you don't need to have open. Now, for instance, I have this cool looking wallpaper engine that I use through Steam. I highly recommend you just go to the wallpaper itself if you are using it. A lot of people say you should just like pause it, because if you pause it, then there isn't anything moving and stuff like that, and it won't use your VRAM. Yet again, the application is open, so it will still use VRAM even though it's paused and it's not moving and it's not using as much resources of VRAM usage. Now, what I highly recommend you go ahead and do is you rather go ahead and quit out of the program itself and have a still image on your desktop. Now, ladies and gentlemen, something that plays a very big role as well is clutter on your desktop as well. It is also basically background apps. It's classed as background apps. If you have a clutter amount of fucking bullshit on your desktop, yes, I know a lot of people prefer just having shortcuts on their desktop. They don't want to go through Steam. They just want to click on the icon over here, and then it opens up the game for them. I highly recommend, if you want your machine to run optimal, at its best performance, at its peak performance, do not have shortcuts on your desktop. They do decrease your machine's performance. As you can see, I have absolute jack shit on my desktop. Jack shit. Alright? And Jack left town already. So please, just remove everything off your desktop, or you can move it to a certain folder, so it's at least inside a folder and not on your physical desktop, using resources like your CPU, your RAM, and in general, just your computer. Overall, in general, your computer matter. Alright, so the next thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is go to the start button over here and go to settings, and then come over here. Alright? You're going to come to gaming, come to game mode, and make sure the game mode is turned on. For Season 4, I highly recommend keeping game mode on. Now, for Season 2, it was also on, and then for Season 1, it was off, alright? So please go ahead and turn that on, and then go to graphics settings over here, and have hardware accelerated GPU scheduling turned on. Please go ahead and do so. Now, if yours is off, and you turn it on, it will ask you to restart your computer. What you're going to do is this. Restart your computer once you've watched this entire video, then you restart your computer. Because you're going to need to restart it in anyways once you're done with everything I'm about to show you. Alright? From the beginning to the end of my video. Please don't skip through it, because if you're going to miss out on something, your game won't optimize itself, and you want the best out of your machine and your game at the same time. So just watch my entire video and you should be good to go. I'll try and make it short, sweet, and simple. I know when I say short, sweet, and simple, the video might be 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I can't help for that. If I'm going to explain everything to you, I'm going to need to explain it. You know, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. I have to explain it to you so you can understand. All right, so from here, you're going to go to the home button and you're going to come to privacy, scroll all the way down to the bottom over here, and then go to background apps. Now, if you are a Windows 10 user like me, yes, I'm still a Windows 10 user. I prefer Windows 10. Windows 10 has no problems and it's not giving me any problems. So I'll only move over to Windows 11 once I have to move over. Once there's no security features for Windows 10 anymore, once there's no more updates and stuff like that, then I'll move over to Windows 11. Whoever's going to leave a comment down below, yo, dude, move over to Windows 11, go fuck yourself. I don't want to. I don't need to. Okay? So this is my own personal preference. Cool. Anyways, now, if you're a Windows 11 user, you're going to have to individually disable your background apps one by one. I'm not going to show you how to do that. It's going to make the video even longer. Just go Google how to disable them. If you're a Windows 10 user, you just go from on to off, and then all of these things over here is going to turn off and not run in the background using your VRAM, your RAM, and your CPU usage. You don't want it to do that. You want to switch all of these background apps bullshit off. All right, from here, you're going to go to the home button. And then from here, you're going to click on the update and security. Make sure that your Windows is up to date. Now, it doesn't matter if you are a Windows 10 user or Windows 11 user. Yet again, please go ahead and check for updates and make sure you have the latest updates for your Windows. It's very important that every time Call of Duty does an update, your Windows needs to be up to date as well. Please go ahead and do that. All right. So as you can see, it's installing a new update for me right now at this very moment. I'm not going to show you how it installs. So let me close out of this. All right. All right, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is you're going to go to the File Explorer like this, and you're going to open this up and come to Documents, and then go to Call of Duty over here, go to Players, and then go to this file over here that says options4.cod23. Right-click on it, and then say Open, or you can say Open with a notepad, or whatever the case might be, as long as you can get inside here. Now, these two things are the most important things when it comes to Call of Duty right now at this very moment. It really means a lot in the game. If you don't change these things, then your game might run normal, but not the way it should be running, okay? And I highly recommend you go ahead and change it. Right now, at this very moment, you can put your total cores inside here, or you can put your total threads inside here. Now, for Season 4, yet again, it's changed. It keeps changing. I don't know why this is a thing, but every time a new update comes out, or every time a new season drops, or every time a new update in general comes out, they break their game. Call of Duty smokes a lot of crack, so they don't know what the fuck they're doing themselves. And most of my viewers know this, most of my subscribers know this. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to put your total cores inside here. Now, I made a very good example by showing you on screen right now from Intel side and AMD side what you're going to do with your cores. Now, when it comes to newer generation Intel CPUs, you get performance cores and then not just your total cores. And then you don't get, like, you know, with the older generation Intel CPUs, you don't get performance cores and efficient cores. You just get your totals and your threads. So your total cores and your threads, your total threads. Now, I made a very good example over here. I hope I go over most of you guys' machines. This isn't every other CPU on the fucking planet. Otherwise, it will just be a whole screen of CPUs. But this is what most people are currently running when it comes to Call of Duty in general. So I hope you guys catch my drift with what kind of number you should be putting inside here. If you are confused and you don't know what number you should put inside here in the first place, all you can do is just right click on your taskbar, go to Task Manager, and just open up Task Manager and click on Performance, and it will tell you on your CPU, when you click on CPU, what CPU you are running, and it will say, like, for instance, I'm running a 14700K, and it says I have 20 cores, and then I have 28 threads. Then just go on to Google, type in your CPU, and look for its total cores when it comes to Ryzen and your total performance cores when it comes to Intel. That's the number you're going to put inside there. Now, I don't recommend to change this. This used to be a thing where you can copy this over into that, and then you have double the VRAM of your GPU, or almost double the VRAM of your GPU. Once you launch the game, you can actually see it here at the bottom that you have double the VRAM. By changing that value into this, by pasting it in there, and you have double the value of VRAM. So you make Call of Duty think that you have more VRAM, but Call of Duty will then start fucking out. It will not work, or it will crash randomly, or whatever the case might be. So don't do that. It's not a thing anymore. Just leave it as is. I highly recommend leaving it like this. If you don't have it like mine, please go ahead and type it in. So it's 0.800000. Leave it like that. That is 80% on the VRAM scale inside the game. Now, there is more things to this, okay? Alright, so there's more things to this, ladies and gentlemen, and it's being on the latest graphics card driver version. Please go ahead and download the latest graphics card driver, which is right now at this very moment 555.85. It's the latest version right now as I'm recording this video. Yes, as you are watching this video from a month from now or something, there will be a newer graphics card driver to download. Then go ahead and download it, okay? Now, if you are not satisfied with being on the latest graphics card driver from Nvidia or AMD, and you're struggling or your game's crashing to the desktop or you're getting stutters and stuff like that, you can roll back your drivers. You do not need to be on the specific one. It's very important to know this, okay? Because Call of Duty is recommending this driver over here, which is 537.58, to be on from that all the way up to 555.85, okay? So it's in between, from 537 all the way up to 555. You can choose which one you want to be on, which one runs the most stable for you for Call of Duty. Plays a very big role on your machine itself, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people don't know this, but it really plays a big role. Please go ahead and upgrade your graphics card drivers to the latest version, or you can roll back your drivers as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, there is more things, like for instance, please go ahead and put your performance cores inside here, not your total cores when it comes to newer generation Intel CPUs. When it comes to lower generation Intel CPUs, and there's nothing like E-cores, like efficient cores and performance cores, there's only total cores, then put your total cores inside here. From Ryzen, it's going to be total cores, and then you should be good to go. Now, there's a lot of other things inside here you can change, like the blood count, the skeletons, the view, and stuff like that. Now, I don't do this to my community because I know most of my community in general do have decent enough computers, like, for instance, medium end to high end to NASA fucking launching nuclear missile machines. I know they have that, right? Then there's people out there that's running really low-end machines, okay? I'm talking about shit, low-end Tetris budget gaming machines, okay? You basically can play the equivalent of Tetris games. Okay, now, if you're trying to play Call of Duty on a, I don't know, for instance, I get this comment a lot, on an RX 580, okay? 8 gig version. You get a 16 gig version right now at this very moment as well, which is, I don't even understand why they made it. I really don't understand it, okay? If you're going to leave me a comment saying, yo, dude, I can't run this game perfectly fine because I'm running an RX 580 8 gig, then please, for the love of fuck, because that graphics card is the equivalent of a calculator. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost in 2025. Newer games are being developed, okay? You are going to need to at least save and buy yourself a new graphics card. No, I'm not saying buy yourself the best graphics card. Buy yourself at least a medium end to a high-ish end graphics card. Don't be on a shit graphics card and try and experience good FPS and good gameplay on a AAA title game that is basically right now at this very moment in 2024, almost in 2025, and you want to run a graphics card that is fucking 8 years, 10 years old. Please, for the love of fuck, upgrade your parts. It's about time to do so. I had to do it. We all gonna eventually have to do it. Eventually, we're going to have to do so. Please do that. Don't leave me a comment saying, yo, dude, my graphics card isn't achieving the FPS it should be achieving. Your graphics card is achieving the FPS it's achieving, depending on the GPU that you're running. So if you're running shit, you are going to get shit. If you're running good, you're going to get good. You get my point. I'm not going to dumb it down any more than that. All right, let's jump straight out of this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is these 3 steps right here. You're going to press the Windows key and R to bring up the Run tab. And you're going to type in temp, T-E-M-P, and then press Enter. You're going to click on anything inside here, Control and A to highlight everything, press delete on your keyboard, and then say do this for all current items, and say continue. Delete everything inside here, just say do this for all current items, and say try again once, do this for all current items, and say skip, and then Windows is currently, say cancel, and then Windows is currently using these files over here. I can't delete any of these things because I have multiple things open right now. I have OBS open, MSI Center, I have MSI Afterburner open, I have Battle.net open, and all those things, so these things can't be deleted right now, so you just close out of this. You're going to do this 2 more times. So you're just going to press the Windows key and R again. This time you're just going to press the forward key on your keyboard, put a Shift 5 for percentage symbol, go all the way to the front of the T, Shift 5 percentage symbol, and press Enter. Click on anything inside here, especially this fucked up folder right here, these fuckers right here. Click on it, press Control and A, highlight everything, say delete, and then delete these, and then just completely delete this out of your machine. Do this for all current items, try again, and then do this for all current items, and say skip. And then there we go. It has been deleted, and you can close out of this. Once this has finished, you go once more, Windows key and R, and then now you're going to type in prefetch, just like this, and then press enter. You're going to say continue to that. When it asks you for command prompt, just say continue, click on anything inside here, Control and A, and delete on your keyboard. Do this for all kind of items, and then say try again, and then do this for all kind of items, and then say skip, and then skip out of this, because Windows can't delete this. It's like basically trying to delete System32 while you're still running Windows. That's like trying to delete Windows while you're on it. It can't happen, okay? Cool, awesome. Now, something I highly recommend you go ahead and do is please go ahead, once you've done all of those three things, right-click on your recycling bin, say empty, and say yes to that, and say continue. Delete all of that nonsense that's basically just cluttering up your machine for no fucking reason, and it's called bloatware. Just remove it. I'm just going to move this to my other screen because it's not on my main screen at all. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is come to the search button over here and type in CMD, and then right-click on it and say run as administrator, and then say yes to the command prompt, and it needs to say C Windows System 32. You're going to type in SFC spacebar / scan now, one word, and press enter. Now, what you're going to need to do is wait it out once it scans through your entire machine. Let it scan through your drives, every single drive that you have. It doesn't matter if it's a hard drive, SSD, M.2, it doesn't matter. Let it run through every single drive and see if you have corrupt files. If you do have corrupt files, Windows will automatically fix it for you. If you have corrupt files and Windows couldn't fix it for you, I highly recommend resetting your computer. If you have nothing on your machine that's important, just reset your machine. It's very easy to do. You just go over here and say reset this PC like this and press your machine and reinstall Windows from fresh. And I highly recommend you go ahead and do that, especially if Windows is telling you that it has corrupt files. Now, those corrupt files sometimes can't be fixed through that CMD command, that you're going to have to reset your computer. So it's quite complicated, and that's why I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you need any help, you can email me up here, right here. Just email me, and we can go through Discord. I do charge a service fee, and I'll do all of these things for you. Figure out what's wrong with your machine. If there is anything wrong with it, I can help you out as best I can. All right. Next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this right here. Right-click on your desktop if you are an Nvidia user like me, and then open up Nvidia Control Panel. You're going to open up an Nvidia Control Panel like this. I'm still using the old one. Yes, I am. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm still using the old one, okay? Don't judge me. I don't really like the new one. I don't, because it's kind of still in a beta version. So I don't want to install something that is not completely done yet, because a lot of people are actually getting problems with it. So I don't use it, okay? So I try and keep myself protected, basically. Okay, but if you have the new one, it's quite similar settings. But yeah, they're basically the same settings. I don't use the new one. Just keep that in mind. Bear that in mind. Okay. Right now, we are on adjust desktop color settings. You can copy my settings over here. It's very good for every single game that you're going to be playing. Having your contrast at 65 and having your digital vibrance between 75 and 95, you're good to go. Just don't push it all the way to 100. There's no point in that. You're going to hurt your eyes. All right, from here, you're going to go to adjust image settings with preview, and you're going to come inside here. Now it's going to say use the advanced 3D image settings. Make sure you have this selected over here, and then you can just click on take me there. It's basically just going to take you to manage 3D settings, and it's going to take you to this over here. Now all you're going to need to do is, I'm not going to explain this on every single video that I fucking make for Call of Duty. Just go to my previous videos. I literally explain what all of these things do. So just go ahead and copy all of my things I have inside here. Every single thing that I have inside, just go ahead and copy them, and you should be good to go. One thing I would mention is this over here. If you do have a mid-tier graphics card, please go ahead and put this at least at performance, okay? Go to performance. If you have a low-end graphics card, go to high performance. Please go ahead and do that. If you know you have a low-end graphics card, high performance. Medium-end graphics card, performance. If you have a high-end graphics card, very, very high-end, 4090s, 4080s, you go to high quality. I have a 4070 Super. I can go to high quality, but I don't use it. I want the maximum performance out of my machine, so I go with quality over here. All right. The rest of the stuff is all, just copy them all, and you'll be good to go. The shader cache has not changed now for Season 3 yet again, so you don't have to put this at 100 gigs. Leave it at driver default, and you should be good to go. Right, from here, you're just going to apply these settings once you have done this, and then go to config surround and physics and come inside here. Please go ahead and select your dedicated graphics card. Do not say select CPU, do not say auto select. Select your dedicated graphics card that you're currently running, because this is what your physics is handled. Your graphics card handles your physics. All right, then you're going to just say apply from here, and then we can close out of this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the game. Let me show you the best settings for season 4 right now at this very moment, with all its updates and everything that has been released for season 4. Let's get straight into it. Let me show you the best settings you can use right now at this very moment for season 4. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the game right now, and we are in the display tab. Now, something I just want to mention is this. It doesn't really matter which one you use here, but it does depend on what type of machine you're running, like what type of setup you're running. So basically, if you have multiple monitors, I highly recommend using full screen borderless. It's actually the best for multiple monitor setups. And then full screen exclusive is for people out there that has one monitor or one display or one display unit, basically like a laptop, or just one display with their gaming machine. Right, now a lot of people also use full screen extended window to get more FPS out of the game, and it is a thing that you can go ahead and use. If you're using a low-end gaming graphics card, I highly recommend using this, or you could use the windowed mode. I know a lot of people that do use these options just in general to get more FPS out of the game if they know they got a budget gaming graphics card. Now, for people out there that's running mid-tier to high-end gaming graphics cards, I highly recommend that you go with full screen exclusive when it goes to one screen and you only have one screen, one dedicated screen, and you have multiple screens. I go with full screen borderless. This is my personal preference. You can do what you want to do here, but this is my personal preference, and this is my advice to you when it comes to season 3. All right, let's jump straight to the next step. That's very important. All right, so the next step is this one over here, aspect ratio. A lot of people don't understand this. If you look very carefully on the right-hand side over here, it actually shows you how huge your screen should be for these type of things, all right? Now, I play my game at 16:9, okay? And this is the best for me, and I highly recommend using 16:9. So wide 16:9. It's actually really, really good. But if you're one of the people out there that has ultra wide screens, or you don't know what you should be using in general, you don't really know exactly what you should be using, and you may be new to the setting, then you could just go to automatic, and Call of Duty will automatically sync with the screen that you're currently using, and you should be good to go. I just want to go over this just so you guys know about this. All right, I use wide 16:9. It's my own personal preference. All right, this one over here, we'll come to this just now. Don't click on this at all. We're only going to click on this later onwards. All right, display gamma, please go ahead and change this to 2.2 if you're running a display or a monitor. If you're running a gaming monitor that has like G-Sync and FreeSync and stuff like that, it can actually help you if you put this at 2.4. It can. But I would still recommend going with 2.2, even if you have a gaming monitor. My own personal preference to you guys, just to let you know what you should be using, go with 2.2 over here. I use 2.4 because I actually have a very expensive gaming TV. It's not really a gaming TV, but it's an expensive TV, and I play on it, and it's just in general, it's smooth as fuck. So this is why I use 2.4, okay? Everyone asks me, why do I use 2.4? I play on a 55-inch 4K Samsung Smart TV, and it fucking runs amazing. Anyways, so this is why I use 2.4, but for you guys out there that's running monitors, 2.2, please go ahead and select it. Do not copy this setting by me. All right, from here, we're going to go to brightness. Please change your brightness from 50% to 55 or 60. Nothing higher than 60, because then the game looks washed out. Please don't do that. Constant mouse to game window. This is if you have multiple monitors like me. I have one on my left and right hand side. So if you apply this, you can't get off this main screen. All right. Then when you put it off and you disable it, you can get off of the screen. Now I'm on my left screen, and when I go over, I go to my right screen. Right. So own personal preference, but don't worry, this is just in the menus and when you may be in the lobby. But when you're playing the game, you can't physically get your mouse off the screen while you are playing. So don't worry about it. You can just switch it off if you want to. I have mine off as personal preference. Over here, as you can see, it says Nvidia Reflex Low Latency. Mine is currently locked because I'm using Nvidia DLSS frame generation because I have a 4070 Super, and I use Nvidia DLSS frame generation, and it actually makes my game run really, really well. A lot of people have different opinions on it, but I'll give you my own personal opinion. It runs really well with my machine. I have a 14700K DDR5 memory running at 6000 megahertz, and then I have a 4070 Super and an M.2 that reads at 7 gigs a second. Now, with all those components combined, I run my game really well with Nvidia DLSS frame generation on, and then I'll show you my quality settings that I use with my specific machine. But I'm going to go over for every single person out there, low end to medium end to high end to super high end machines. Right now, if you are on this option right now and yours is not locked because you don't have a 40 series card, you maybe have a 30 series, 20 series, or something lower than that, I highly recommend that you read what it says on the right hand side here, right? So off, on, or on plus boost. Okay, so on plus boost is basically if you CPU bound, and then on is if you GPU bound. Okay, so you literally just need to read what this says over here, and it can be the opposite way around. It literally can be the opposite way around. A lot of people have really good CPUs with shitty GPUs, and then a lot of people go all out with their GPUs and have shitty CPUs. Yet again, so it's a debate on which you're gonna put on here. So it's your own personal preference on which one you're gonna put on here. But for now, at this very moment, to be honest with you, on plus boost is the best setting you can use in season 4. Even if you got a really high-end GPU and a low-end CPU, or a high-end CPU and a low-end GPU, go with on plus boost. Still go with on plus boost. Go with this one over here, go with this one over here, and you should be good to go. If you don't have a 40 series card and this isn't locked and you don't use frame generation, or you have a 40 series card and you don't use frame generation, go with on plus boost over here and you should be good to go. We're going to come down and we're going to come to eco mode preset, put this at custom. Then this, I highly recommend just put it off completely. This is only if you have screen tearing, if you have shit happening like that. I highly recommend turning it then on. Then obviously you're going to just turn it on to 100%. I don't get screen tearing in my game. Mine's naturally off, and it's off over here as well. I don't get screen tearing in my menus, so I turn it off. Custom frame rate limit, ladies and gentlemen, is something I'm not really going to get into. I'm just going to say that I put mine on unlimited, and this is how I play my game. Because a lot of people have their own personal preference on this. They go to custom, and then they put it like in a certain way over here. You know, like maybe, I don't know, they have a 240 hertz monitor over here, so they put this at 240. Or they have a 240, like I said, maybe a 350 hertz monitor, then yeah, put it to the highest it can go to. If you have a 144 hertz monitor, then put it at 144, like that. If you have a 120 hertz monitor, then you put it at 120, like that. Then you're going to drop this to about 60, and you're going to drop this one to about 30. Normal, right? So that's going to depend on the hertz of your monitor while you are playing your game. So if you've got 60, you hit 60. If you have 120, you hit 120. If you have 144, you hit 144. If you have 200, you hit 200. If you have anything higher than that, you go 300, and then that's the highest you can go to. So 360 hertz, all that shit, and you go 300 here. So I'm not going to go in depth with this. This is your own personal preference. Everyone has their own personal preference when it comes to this with the custom. That's why I don't use it. I don't really bother with this that much because my GPU is not going to die because I'm selecting unlimited and I'm doing unlimited frames all the time. Yeah, I do a lot of overclocking when it comes to my CPU, when it comes to my RAM, when it comes to my GPU and stuff like that. And I actually don't give a fuck about this option. I leave this unlimited all the time, and it's always been an unlimited. Since Call of Duty came out, it's always been an unlimited, and none of my components ever died. Please don't let people tell you that you're going to kill your GPU if you put this on unlimited. Because once you put this on unlimited, your GPU is not going to jump out the case and run out the front door, and then you need to chase it, and you're going to be like, why are you running away from me? And then he's going to turn around and be like, yo, no, you're putting me on unlimited. No, that's not a thing. Don't let people put that into your fucking head. Honestly. But if you want to safe play it, you can go ahead and go to custom and fucking do your own thing over there. But yet again, unlimited. I don't give a fuck. I run my game like this. Always and always will. Alright. Menu render resolution, native. Pause, game rendering, off. Focus mode is kind of cool if you have multiple screens. So 100% and you apply it, then both your screens go off. My two screens on my right and left hand side just went completely black right now. So put it at 0%, then I can see on both my screens. Obviously, I want to be able to see on both my screens. So why the fuck would I use this? I don't know why this is an option, to be honest. I guess it's a nice feature for COD to enable things for you not to turn your monitors off by getting up and turning them off. I guess Call of Duty knows that people are lazy, but they're just as lazy because they smoke a lot of crack in general, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing with their updates, because it's just skins and skins and skins and money schemes because you just need to buy battle passes and this and that and this, and they don't fix their fucking game. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to become a rant and rave. Let's get over this. Let's jump straight into the quality tab. Right, from here we're going to go to the quality tab like this, and now we are going to do this. Alright, I play my game with Nvidia DLSS, okay? Then I have frame generation on. okay? Then I have this at 80%, and I have this at quality and at 50% with my current rig that I'm running. 14700K, I have a 4070 Super, and this is how I run my game. It runs perfectly fine like this, okay? This option over here, please don't turn it on. It actually makes the game run way fucking worse. I'm not going to lie to you. It makes the game run like dog shit. Yeah, sometimes you'll do really good FPS, but there's moments in the game where it feels like you're stuttering, and you don't want that. No one in this game, in this community, wants their game to feel like it's stuttering. So turn this the fuck off. If you don't want stuttering in your game, turn it off, okay? Don't turn this on. Right, let's go over the rest of the steps over here. Nvidia DLSS, okay, that's what I use. Everyone has their own personal preference, okay? Now, a lot of people prefer this one over here, the Intel upscaling. It's a really good upscaling. I used to use this with my 2060 OC, and then I would have this either at balance or at quality, and it would run really, really well. Just don't put this at performance. You're going to tear out your own fucking eyes because the game's going to look like dog shit. Please don't do that, okay? If you can, if your GPU can handle ultra quality, you can go ahead and do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend is either quality or balance when it comes to this upscaling over here. And still 80% here, still 80% here. Don't worry about this. This is for 40 series cards. Don't worry about this option. Keep this at 80 if you have that over there. Okay. And then obviously, like I said, either balance or quality, and then you can go and do that. All right. Now, Nvidia DLAA, I'll always skip over this option because it's actually a really shitty option when it comes to Call of Duty. No one uses it. I don't know a person that uses this option. No one uses this upscaling at all. Like fucking no one. All right. Nvidia image scaling. I know a lot of people that use this over here. They go with native. It's either native, quality, or balance. Okay. You can go ultra quality if your GPU can handle it. If you know you got a decent enough GPU, go with ultra quality. But native pushes out the native resolution of your monitor, and then just you can choose your own personal sharpness of the NVIDIA image scaling at native at the resolution of your monitor, right? This is what NVIDIA image scaling can do for you. Now, AMD FSR 1.0, I don't recommend this, but I recommend it to very low-end GPU users. You can go ahead and select this, then go to balanced over here, and you should be good to go, all right? Then, something I want to mention is, change this from 80 to 65, like that, and press enter. You can type it in there and press enter, okay? You should be good to go when it comes to a lower generation graphics card. But if you want a little bit more quality out of your game, and you still have a low-end gaming graphics card in general from AMD or Nvidia, just because it says AMD doesn't mean you need an AMD card. You can run this with Nvidia cards as well. All right. AMD FSR 3.0 is the best one you can use right now at this very moment. You can either have this at balance or at quality, or you can have it at native yet again. Native will do the render resolution of your screen, of your monitor that you're currently running, okay? Now, I would recommend native or quality or balance. Please don't select performance. Please don't select ultra performance. Your game's going to look like absolute dog shit. Go to balance, then it will balance out the quality and your performance at the same time, so you can have an equal balance game. Or you can go to quality, so you can do a slight little bit less FPS, but your game looks really good. Or you can go to native and run native resolution, what your screen can push out. So 1080p, 1440p, 4K, whatever the case might be, 2K, whatever the case might be, okay? Native, if you want to go native, okay? Then this, I highly recommend pushing this up yet again. You're going to push this up to 75, either 75, or you're going to hit 80. One of those two. When you do use AMD FSR 3.0, okay, please go ahead and do this, ladies and gentlemen. Please go ahead and do this. All right. From here, you can go to Fidelity FX Cache. A lot of people still use this. This is your own personal preference when it comes to the strength of Fidelity FX Cache. I know a lot of people that runs really high-end GPUs that still uses Fidelity FX Cache. Why? It's because it's a favored upscaling and sharpening in the game, because it makes the game look really sharp, and you can see your enemies much, much easier if you want to play competitively. Now, a lot of competitive players actually use Fidelity FX Cache. I use Nvidia DLSS, and I'm still competitive at my own times. I'm not that competitive anymore, not that much. I just do, like, 2 tweaks on the game and stuff like that. I jump into the game to do tweaks. I don't really grind and sit here with a towel and wipe my fucking sweat off from fucking sweating in rank lobbies. But I know a lot of people out there that is watching my video right now does play rank play and stuff like that. So if you want a good rank gameplay, go with Fidelity FX Cache. It makes the game really sharp, makes it much easier to play, and gives you more FPS in general, and it makes the game run really, really well. Not going to lie to you, it makes it run really, really well. You can run at 80% over here, or yet again, you can run it at 65, and you should be good to go, and your game will run perfectly fine. Now, something I want to mention is this over here. If you're going to go with, let's say, for instance, Nvidia image scaling, and you have it at native, or whatever option you have here, please come down over here, and then have this at normal, okay, and then this one at normal as well. You can either put it at low or at normal when you have Nvidia image scaling, okay. When you have AMD FSR 1.0, I highly recommend you come down here and then go to low here, and then this one over here, normal. That's how this will look for AMD FSR 1.0. And then for 3.0, I would recommend you put this at normal and that at normal when you run AMD FSR 3.0. When you're running a mid-tier to high-end graphics card, if you know you've got a high-end, you go to here and you go normal, and then this one at high. If you've got a high-end GPU. Lower end, you go back to normal over here, normal, and then AMD FSR 3.0, and you should be good to go. Now, when you come to Fidelity FX Cache, when it comes to Fidelity FX Cache, I highly recommend leaving it at normal and leaving it at normal, and you should be good to go. All right, that is the settings I would recommend for you guys, and this is the settings that I'm using. Like I said before, I use this over here like that. That's how I use my game, and then I have this at 80% like this. Press enter. And then I have frame generation on. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I had a lot of people ask me, yo, dude, don't you get like input latency and like stuttering in the game when you use frame generation? I don't. I don't see it at all. I physically don't. And I test this game a lot. Like a fuck ton. Holy shit, I tested it a lot. I don't see any like stuttering and stuff like that. If you're experiencing that, that might be your machine. Like I said, if you guys want a optimization through me, myself, go email me and I can help you out through Discord. I do charge a fee, like I said, but I can help you out as best I can. Anyways, let's go down with this. Depth of field off. I don't know who plays with this, but yet again, it's your own personal preference. If you play with depth of field, it's a multiplayer game. Why the fuck would you have it on in the first place? But yet again, it's your own personal preference. All right. Detail quality level, low. Please put this at low. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm running a 4070 Super. I can run this game at everything on the best settings and I would still do really high FPS, but I want competitive settings and I want the best FPS. So this is for everyone out there. You can have a low-end gaming graphics card to medium to high-end to the highest end, still run this. It's competitive settings. Go with low here. Particle resolution, very low. Bullet impacts, you can put this on because then you can actually see where the wall was shot at, or if the wall was shot at, or whatever the case might be. It doesn't affect FPS. It doesn't affect your CPU or your RAM or your GPU. Turn it the fuck on. All right. This over here, the effects, turn it off. You don't need to see the effects in the game. You really don't. Shader quality is something that a lot of people has mentioned in my comments, and they were like, yo, dude, shouldn't this be on high? No, it should not. Put this at low because the thing is about this. What I want to explain is, do you want to see that there's a crane here and then it's reflecting on the water? Or would you have no water? And yes, there's still a crane there, but it's not reflecting. So there's no reflections happening in the water and stuff like that. You don't really need to see that. If you're a competitive player and all you want to do is run around and kill people and also have more FPS, then put this at low. Don't put this to medium or high. Leave it at low and you should be fucking good to go. Let's common fucking knowledge. Just turn it the fuck down. Because you really don't even need this option. To be honest, they could have just deleted this option. You don't need it, okay? You really don't. I know a lot of people that has really high-end GPUs that don't use it. I have a 4070 Super and I don't use it. I don't, because there's no point in it. All right? On-demand Texas streaming, turn it the fuck off, turn it the fuck off, and turn it the fuck off, and done. All right? Local Texas streaming quality. This is something I would recommend people put on normal if you're running a 30 series, like a 3070 and higher. Any card between a 3070 and higher. Please don't put this at normal if you're running a 10 series or a 20 series. Please don't do that. Then you put that at low. If you're running anything lower than a 3070, put it at low. If you're running anything higher than that, go to normal and you'll be good to go. All right. Shadow and lighting plays a very big role on this game's FPS and how the game performs, okay? Now, my game, you saw how my game looks when I started this video. You saw how the game looks, how the map looks, how everything looks. It looks perfectly fine. And I have all of these settings over here. Shadow and lighting just eats FPS and does nothing in the game. Yeah, it slightly does a little bit of detail, but you don't need to see it. Okay, so shadow quality, very low. Screen space, shadows, off. Ambient occlusion, off, always off. Leave it the fuck off and done. That's for single player, actually, because then you can put this at both if you're playing single player. But right now we're playing Warzone, so please leave it the fuck off. Screen space reflections, off, okay? Static reflection quality, low. Tessellation, off, always off. Leave it the fuck off and done. Volumetric quality, low. Physics quality, don't need to see the physics, low. Weather grid volumes, this you go to off, and then your water quality as well. Turn it the fuck off. You do not need to see the water caustics or the wave wetness. Like, honestly, are you gonna jump out of the plane and go land by the water and then watch the scenery, or are you gonna jump out the plane and go fuck people up? What are you gonna be doing in COD? You are not jumping out to watch the scenery, so turn this the fuck off and get it over and done with, alright? And then you apply these settings from here. Then we're going to go to the view tab. Now, the view tab is your own personal preference, but something I highly recommend you go ahead and do is take advantage of this over here. Inverted flash. A lot of people don't take advantage of this. And then there's another one, which is this one over here. Take advantage of this as well. Put your film grain to 0.00 so your game actually looks a little bit better and it doesn't look like pixelated. Like you have a, I don't know, 1976 fucking TV. I don't know. Just put it at 0.00, please. You do not want your game to look like you're playing it on a calculator, so leave it at 0.00. Put it all the way down, okay? And you should be good to go. Inverted flash, take advantage of it, okay? So your screen goes black instead of white. It's really nice on the eyes, especially when you get flashbanged and your screen goes completely black because you can hear the flashbang go off. And no, it's not going to look like your game crashed. I've seen people say, don't put this on because you're going to think your game's crashing. Bullshit. You're going to hear a flashbang go off and then your screen's going to go black. And then it will come back to normal again. And yet again, it's not your whole screen that goes black. It's only in the middle. On the edges of the screen, you could still see. So take advantage of this, please, ladies and gentlemen. But yet again, it's your own personal preference. I can't tell you what to do in the view tab, but this plays a very big role, ladies and gentlemen. It plays a very big role in your game. Please go ahead and put this at 0.00. Right, from here, we're going to go to this over here, which says interface. We're going to come to color customization, and we're going to come over here. You're going to have you as your own personal color. Choose your own personal color. Have your team and your party the same colors. Whatever color you want to choose here. Your enemy, you're going to come inside here, and you can actually apply a custom color or create a custom color inside here, and then choose what you want. Whatever color suits you the best. I have mine as magenta pink. Always had mine as magenta pink. And then I apply my custom color and leave it like this. All right. I'm going to come down, and then you're going to have this at filter 2. You guys can go ahead and try out filter 3. That pink, that magenta pink, will turn into purple once I click on filter 3. Watch this. Now it's completely dark pink. Now, you can either choose filter 3 or filter 2. But right now, at this very moment, as your own personal preference, as a person that knows that, hey, this looks the best, go with filter 2, go with both, go with 100%, go with 100%, and you should be good to go on the settings for Season 4. Now, the most important step you're going to need to do is this right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the most important step that you're going to need to do after applying all of these settings. Now, before you jump out of my video, listen to me, please, listen to me. You're going to click on Restart Shader Preloading, and you're going to click on Restart. Then you're going to restart your game either through Battle.net or Steam, whatever platform you're playing it through. Then when you launch your game, at the top left corner, it's going to install your shaders. Let your shaders install. Click anywhere on your screen once. Once the shader starts installing, click anywhere on your screen just once. Anywhere on your screen, just like a click, you know, just like a click, you know, anywhere on your screen, and then leave it. Let your shaders install to 100%. Then when you start moving your mouse around, you'll see here a square block will come up on this side, and it will say 100% complete. Then you are done, okay? Then you should be good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, if this video worked for you, smash that like button, leave a comment down below. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I have been sick, so sorry about that. And, you know, like I have been sick for a couple of days now. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever watched this video from the beginning to the end, me knowing you watched this video from the beginning to the end and it actually helped you, just leave a comment down below saying the GOAT is back. As always, hope this helped you, and peace.